What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Psybient. We're back with a tune from an artist, originally a duo, then it was sort of a trio, and then for a long time it's been a solo act that I've not yet reacted to on the channel. We're talking Asura. People who know Psybient, downtempo, will know that that's a name that goes back to the late 90s. I think originally it was a duo between Charles, what's his surname? Make sure I have this right, Farewell. So Charles Farewell and Vincent Villiers. Now Vincent Villiers is known also by his name Ace Dana. I think many people who know Psybient will know that name. And then eventually there was a third person who joined. But by the time you get to like 05, it's just a Charles Farewell project. So the tune we're going to listen to is interesting because it originally comes from an album Lost Eden, which was 03, when I think it was Charles and I think, is it Ackerman? I gotta look at the name. The other person who joined, no, Christopher Mays joined in 01. And then, yeah, Alex Ackerman joined in the same year that Vincent Villiers left. In 98, Christopher Mays joins. Then Vincent Villiers left in 01. In the same year, Alex Ackerman came in, but since July 05, it's just Charles Farewell's solo project. So the original album this comes from, it's actually 02, is Lost Eden, and the track is Fahrenheit. But we're going to hear a version called the Unreleased long edit, which then occurred later on an Asura album from 2011, long after it had become a solo project of Charles Farewell, and that's on Alter Records, which again, shout out to DJ Zen. So yeah, we're basically going to hear the long edit of Fahrenheit. So I assume this was originally a track, or at least the original version, was composed when it was still Ackerman, Mays, and Farewell, but I believe this longer edit perhaps is just Farewell, or perhaps it's another one that they developed when it was still a trio, but they didn't put out. In any case, the version that the way I got this was on the 2011 album by Asura called Oxygen, but it's like Oxygen. In any case, as I said, this is on Alter Records up in Canada. It's an Asura track, and it's called Fahrenheit, the Unreleased long edit. As the final track in one of the earliest mixes of my Ambient Excursion series called Fly On. It's like a really powerful way to end a mix, this track. Sense of foreboding, or like a sense of being doomed even, but like before the storm. sense of foreboding. That tonal shift. Fire out of the cannon again. Part of the way this hits my brain may be colored by the fact that I used it in a mix like over a decade ago, so one that has been in my brain a long time. And the samples I use, it's about the Voyagers just continuing to head out into the unknown. I think maybe it's colored a little by that, but I think that uncertain atmosphere is definitely there. Like synth rain over the track. Crystalline, way up high. This gives you a chance to already be sort of mixing into sort of a pad ambient part of an incoming tune, but for me, like, this is a track you use to finish a mix. The Voyagers will fly on. Yeah, bottom line, I love the tune. Again, as I'm going to say with a few tunes that I'm going to be reacting to in the next week or two, because my plan is to kind of go back and hit some classics that have been in my brain for a dozen years or more. So yeah, you're going to hear me say a few times that not only do I love this track, but it very much makes me think about diving headfirst into Psybient when I discovered it, trying to find where I could buy it, whether it's CDs or downloads, and eventually thinking, man, even though it'll be very different from my acid trance or acid techno sets, or eventually in later years hardcore sets, I really want to make sets of this Psybient music, which eventually led to the ambient excursion. In any case, let me know what you think of the tune. We'll get back to more Asura, whether from like an earlier phase or a later phase. Most of the Asura stuff I know, I think, is from when it was already a solo project, like post 2005. But again, technically, the original version of this tune goes back to 2002, so I'm not so sure about the actual composition of this unreleased long edit. In any case, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.